I want to talk about, I'm going to start with George Washington, who in December 1799 went for a ride on a snowy day and he got laryngitis. So he had himself bled and didn't get any better, so he sent for a doctor. As the father of his country, not one but 3 doctors came to attend him, and they all bled him. And over the course of 2 days, they took out 4 pints of blood. Unfortunately, he died despite their best efforts. So why was bleeding the treatment of choice for 2,000 years in Western civilization? It used to be done by surgeon barbers. My father was a fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons and very proud of the fact that this entitled him to cut hair. But it was recommended by Galen, the father of Greek medicine. And why did people do it? Well, because sometimes people got sick, you did something, and sometimes they got better. And figuring out which treatments worked and which didn't was very difficult. Saying whether the pink or the purple bars there are a better idea is hard just from casual inspection. And there was no way of thinking about things in a systematic way that could tell you whether one treatment was better than another. So let me give another example. Puerperal or childbed fever, which killed a lot of women right after they gave birth. The largest obstetric hospital in the 19th century was the Allgemeines Krankenhaus in Vienna, which was divided into 2 divisions. The death rate in the first division, which was attended by medical students, was 3 times the death rate in the second division, that was attended by midwives. In 1846, a new assistant director called Ignaz Semmelweis was appointed and decided he wanted to get to the bottom of this. He tried everything he could think of. He tried giving the women the same diet, the same birth position, and finally he had the idea that maybe washing hands had something to do with it. He introduced a directive that all the medical students had to wash their hands after they performed an autopsy before they examined a woman. And in 1848, the death rate in the first division dropped from 11% to 1%. So what happened to Semmelweis? You'd think he was made a hero, decorated by the emperor. No, Semmelweis got fired. In 1849, the new director rescinded this stupid hand-washing provision, and it took another 20 years until Joseph Lister convinced the medical profession that the use of antisepsis during surgery was a good idea. And it wasn't until 1879 that Pasteur found the streptococcus. Don't forget about Pasteur. So the problem was that despite that evidence that would be convincing today, there wasn't an understanding of what normal variation was. So this was developed at the end of the 19th century by various statisticians. You just missed the picture of William Gossett, who worked for a well-known multinational food and beverage company that didn't allow anybody to publish under their own name, so he published under the name Student. And he, along with several other people, developed the idea of telling from the data alone what a normal range of variation is. So you can tell when a change is actually significant or when it's just random. So let me give an example of a successful use of statistics in the 19th century, which was the treatment of cholera, a disease that first appeared in Europe in 1830. John Snow was a London doctor who thought it had something to do with dirty water. And in a particularly bad outbreak in Soho, 500 people died in 1852 in 3 days. He made a map of where everybody died, so each dot is a death. And the circle there was the local pump. He got the pump disabled and it stopped the deaths in Soho. And he also found that the incidence of cholera varied greatly depending on whether households got their water from a company that drew it upstream in the Thames or downstream. He published a book on this that convinced the authorities, and in 1866 both New York and London adopted his recommended treatment and insisted that all water come upstream, and that basically abolished cholera 30 years before the bacillus was identified. So the moral is that statistics gives you a way of making informed decisions even when you don't understand the mechanism that's going on. Thank you.